Are cam girls more interested in providing a service, or is it more about the money?
Honestly, I think it's both. For me, personally, I love doing this. This is really fun for me. I find it personally fulfilling, and the money that I make off of it is just kind of a bonus, honestly. I make more money than I was expecting, but even if I had made less, I still would love this.
What? Stop the cap. All right, you know good and well that you don't love it to where you're okay with not making money. Because if that's really the case, why don't you make your OnlyFans free? If OnlyFans and all that other stuff is what you're selling your content on, make all the subscriptions free. If you really love it, then you'll do it for free.
Why do so many people think that women get into sex work because they have no other career options?
No, they do. I just don't like to wake up early, and I have issues maintaining just going to work and doing mundane things. My brain does not working like that. I'm just glad that I live in a time where I can capitalize off of.
So you want to live life on easy mode?
Laziness. I don't know, because you can call me lazy but I really shine in these things. Like, put me in front of a camera and tell me suck a dick. I'm like, yes, please. I get to be paid for it. Oh my God, thank God I live in a universe that allows that.
There are people who do sex work out of desperation. That's completely fine.
Okay.
There are also people that do it because they love it, or they might be an exhibitionist and tap into a kink in a monetary way, or a way to monetize that. So I forgot the question.
I do love that question because I'm actually college educated. I have a biomedical engineering degree, but I hated the industry. I wanted to do something I enjoyed, and also this had the potential to make me more money, and it does. I'm doing what I love, and I make a lot of money doing it.
How is saying that men have to create their value any different than saying men don't have value?
Wow.
It's
That's
not.
actually a bar. Yeah, actually, I never really thought about it that way.
They both are the same thing.
I think also in the jungle, the way that, where we come from, we had to prove ourselves. So in sports, a lot of times when we were growing up, we were very competitive. So I feel like we had to, that's just a part of the nature. It's just part of nature.
How are conservatives saying that we need men to be disposable any different from feminists saying kill all men?
Ooh, I don't think it's different. I don't think it's different. I think it's the same thing, because it's treating people like they're disposable.
Feminists saying kill all men haven't lived in a world without men. So
yeah, that's true.
It's a ridiculous statement. Let's pass on that one. Yeah.
Isn't the idea that men are disposable the reason that men can't be seen as victims?
Yeah, I do think that it's a lot harder for people to look at a man as being a victim in a situation rather than a woman.
Isn't that the very premise behind the empathy gap between men and women?
Yeah.
And many men fall victims to, let's say, like sexual assault, trigger warning, and things like that because, of the male disposable world. Like, you shouldn't have let that happen. Like, you're a man, you're strong, you should be able to defend yourself. Nothing like that can happen to you
That's
because
true.
you're this strong.
You're assigned to be the provider. You know what I'm saying? Since the beginning of the time, we were always created to be the stronger one. We were always women are not our equal. Put it like that. Our job is to protect and lead a woman. So if the woman doesn't necessarily possess the traits of being able to be strong. A woman doesn't necessarily have the genes to be strong as a man.
Who assigned you that role?
God does.
My DNA.
Your DNA?
My DNA.
Are you sure it's not your religious beliefs?
It's the fact I have a dick.
Can you explain the concept of hoflation?
What the fuck does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Okay, for prime example, my grandma, probably your grandma, wholesome women. They were good value. They cooked, they cleaned, they stayed down. They were good in-house wives. You had better back then. Now you get less from a female, and they're less of a person, and they do way less, but they expect way more.
They expect more.
That's
Yep.
inflation.
Yep. There you
Why
go.
do modern men have to work 5 times harder than their grandfathers did for women 20 times worse than what their grandmothers were?
Because a lot of times the men made the women worse, and though their grandfathers cherished their women more and let them be women.
We have empowered women so much to believe that they are queens and that they don't have to work for a relationship and or a man. The dating apps have created a false sense of options for women.
Okay.
Women are getting attention left and right on different social media platforms. You had options of 3-mile radius of people that you were dating 20, 30, even 40 years ago. I mean, the iPhone and technology has changed everything for women, especially good-looking women. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, the women are just really taking advantage of the opportunities that they have to get that attention. And if men had that opportunity, I think that they would probably take it as well. So men have to stop giving that attention because they're thirsty or whatever. And women wouldn't have any place to sell that hoflation or sell their honess if men weren't buying. So, we need to kind of both take responsibility on that.
Does a man typically have to be macho to be respected?
No. But I feel like now, kind of, yeah.
I don't think men have to be macho to be respected. I think that's just like our TV screens make us think that kind of stuff. But I think the most stoic men that are silent but also like reserved are the most masculine to me.
I think that's a misconception. I think that's the difference between a masculine man and an alpha male. I feel like an alpha male is always chest up in the front, trying to be the hero, screaming, telling everybody the orders. But I feel like a real masculine man is just like, waiting for them to be done screaming, and then we actually gonna get the job done. So I don't think you got to be all macho to be a masculine man. I feel like the macho just comes from that idea of being an alpha male, like a hero or something.
Doesn't that place the man into a category where he's supposed to take abuse to be a man?
Ooh, that's hard. No one's supposed to take abuse to be anybody, but I think people have that mixed up. Yeah, people have that really mixed up. Just because you're a man doesn't mean that you're supposed to take anything from anyone. In fact, I feel like a real man wouldn't.
In a way,
Here we go, real
puts
man.
men in a category to be the protector, the fighter, the thing that holds down the fort. Like if something's going down in the house, I'm gonna go get up. She gonna go cuddle the babies while I go take care of an intruder or something like that. But that's what your job is as a man. So it's not like, oh, we got put in this place to take a bunch of pain, because women take a bunch of pain. They bear our children. So it's like it's pain all around. We all getting pain. But as far as getting physical and protecting something.
If you have an hour this week, you can learn 100 songs on the piano by learning just 4 chords. These. Check it out. And can
something that's meant for the men.
Okay. What does porn offer men that they don't get from the current dating scene?
I think that, okay, there might be a reason for this. I think that they have exposure to things that perhaps their partner would not be interested in. And, that can be solved with maybe some communication and maybe destigmatization of sex in society.
Do you think it would be harder to remove the stigma on porn for seen as dirty or on men for seen as creepy?
I feel like it would be harder for probably maybe the porn thing be seen as dirty, just because there's so many, like there's religions, and then there's just like other like values and beliefs that people can like shove down your throat and make you feel bad about yourself, because everybody gets horny and everybody wants to masturbate, and so like that's I feel like that's like kind of a universal issue on men for being creepy.
Why?
Because I think it's something that someone told me this one time, and I thought it was really interesting. If someone's hot and they're hitting on you, it's sweet, but if someone's not attractive to you and they're hitting on you, it's like catcalling. And
it's true.
Men.
That's true.
Men. And I mean, it does suck that men are seen as creepy, but like, I think as a woman, I just look at it as like you're guilty by association at this point, which is not fair at all. But you just get so many certain creepy interactions with men, it just kind of ruins it for everybody. So it might be harder for the men. I don't know. That's a good question. I think I'm changing my answer. I think it'd be harder for men to not be seen as creepy. That's my final answer.
What?
In a long-term relationship, people can grow together or they can grow apart. Is there a good way to know which one is more likely to happen?
The good way to know is whether your partner's willing to compromise or not.
If everyone lived to be 1,000 years old, how likely are people to never get sick of their partner?
You'd get very sick of your partner. It's very likely to get sick of your partner. Yeah, people live to their 90s now and they get sick of it.
How many people in your family are divorced?
0.
Do you know more people who stay together or who've separated?
Probably separated.
There's more people that separated than stay together.
Separated.
Are you divorced? And if so, what red flag did you ignore before you got married?
Yes, and I ignored his narcissism, all of it.
The red flag I ignored was the breaking up and getting back together.
I am divorced. The red flag that I ignored was that I should have paid more attention, but at the same time, I didn't feel equally amount of respect, so it created an issue.
Is a man's fear of divorce and losing half equivalent to a woman's fear of marrying a man who will end up leaving her with nothing?
I would say yeah. I mean, it goes both ways, no?
Stop the cap.
No, because it is less likely for a man to leave a woman with nothing.
Hold on. Notice how when he asked her a question that directly impacts men more, she responded by saying it goes both ways. Now it's interesting because It's Complicated made a point about that maybe like a couple videos ago where he said that whenever he addresses a man's issue, the common response that he gets is that it goes both ways, and we got to see that right here. So shout out to It's Complicated for highlighting that.
Are men more thirsty for sex, or are women more thirsty for attention?
Ooh. I think women are more thirsty for attention, honestly.
Men are more thirsty for sex, I would say.
Why are men shamed for being thirsty when men are the ones expected to pursue women?
Oh,
That's what I don't
to test
understand.
them to be, this. They have to they have to show that they're cool. I mean, women, they need to be with a cool guy, so they need to put up a lot of barriers to find that cool guy.
Okay, I think it has to do with how they pursue women sometimes.
Okay.
I think it's because of the way that it's done. Most
fair,
men
that's fair.
nowadays aren't very gentlemanly, I guess you could say, about how they approach women. And so it can come off as thirsty rather than courting as, they would do back in the day.
You know what's funny? I feel like this also ties into if a woman is actually attracted to a man or not. Because if they're not attracted, then they seem creepy.
If men are thirsty and will do anything for sex, how are men not seen as the weaker sex?
Because physically men are stronger, even though women are probably stronger emotionally and mentally.
Aren't men more likely to be manipulated through sex?
Oh, yeah. Men only think about sex, so they're very manipulated. Women dominate it.
So then why aren't men...
These Sephora colognes are a scam. Did you know these luxury fragrances cost almost nothing to make? David and I used to spend so much.
Aren't men protected from emotional abuse the same way women are protected from physical abuse?
Oh.
Because men are idiots. No, emotional is worse. No. Emotional is worse than physical. It is. Oh,
so then if emotional is worse than physical,
Yes, the
wouldn't men
men-
deserve protection more than women?
They would. They should. But they're not smart enough to fight for it.
Why are there OF girls who continuously go on these red pill podcasts to get dunked on?
Oh, it's about the clout. Can I act like I'm actually going to go in here?
Uh-oh.
If you are a porn star and you go on those dude bro podcasts for clout, I hope it's fucking worth it to you because you are part of the problem. You are encouraging the stigma that we face. It is disgusting for
Damn,
what? Fake
son, where'd you find this?
It's disgusting.
To all of my OF creators, ask yourself, what are these questions about and what are they trying to get from me? And what does it mean when all they want is the shocking, depraved, dirtiest story that I have? I mean, I'm worried that the culture that's supposed to be so modern is actually bringing us back to the era of the circus tent with the barker out front who is the podcast host saying, "Come in, audience, and meet the freaks." Is that helpful or harmful to our industry? Just simmer on that.
I mean, the clout that comes along with it, of course. Of course, they're benefiting, monetarily from all the subscribers that they get, but it's not worth it. Like, I don't think it's worth it.
So aren't these podcasts promoting the very thing they say they're against?
Absolutely.
No,
They're
they're not.
platforming these women the same
Stop
way
the
that
cap.
these women are platforming them. it's almost like a rage farm, you know? Everybody watches, and then somebody's going to make money off of it. Both.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I've known girls who have gone on that and behind the scenes, all these dude bros that, you know, these 14-year-old kids, they're so nice to them and whatever. It's all an act. Like, it's just grifting. It's grifting, and I have no respect for the women that go on there to get dunked on, and then everyone else has to face the stigma because of their actions. It's disgusting.
How can men and women be equal if coochie costs more money than dick?
Uh-oh.
That's an interesting.
How much should good car insurance cost you a month? $80? $120? Nope. Try $38.
It's an interesting one. I think that's one that has to do with, like, the way society has put coochie as something that has to be paid for and dick doesn't.
How likely will women pay for dick or make coochie free?
I think
Never.
We're more likely to make coochie something very expensive and dick free.
How can men and women be equal if we have double standards?
Double standards.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me not speak.
Yeah.
Double standards exist because I'm gonna get canceled.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's not have double standards. We need to get rid of the double standards.
Can you think of any double standards that don't benefit women?
Uh-oh.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I don't know. Double standards exist because of the people who believe they're more important than everybody else when it comes to their gender, their rights, etc. I feel like double standards should not exist. I don't know if I'm making sense, but they exist to a certain extent with certain people.
All right, this is a little more raunchy, but how can men and women be equal if coochie costs more money than dick?
Fuck nigga to the end, tell a friend, bitch.
That's actually.
Yep, you can't get around that.
Well, I mean, how likely will women pay for dick or make coochie free?
I don't think women pay for dick as much as men pay for women. So
Exactly.
So does that
men
prove?
are more desperate, that's why. That does kind of prove a point.
Are women's dating standards too high, or are men just lazy?
I say too high.
I say men are lazy. No.
I feel like men are just
Stop
lazy.
the cap.
Because nowadays, I feel like men just don't
Stop
put in
the
the
cap.
effort. They kind of want to be the woman themselves. They want
Oh,
the flowers.
really?
They want to be treated out. It's
sassy.
just, yeah, they just act
Drizzle,
like women.
drizzle.
I just don't think men are as forward as they used to be. I actually think that they want or wait for the women to be the aggressive ones, which we don't want to do.
I think they've been conditioned that way because that's.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. See, this is a perfect example of when you give women what they want, then they turn around and complain about it. Because women will get on this internet all day talking about men are creeps, men need to leave us alone, no means no, yada, yada, yada. They say that all the time, right? But now that the men are listening and saying, you know what? I'm not going to approach her unless she gives me some sort of confirmation that she's interested in me. Then I'll make the approach. So now that men are taking a step back and being more strategic and actually paying attention to signals, now the women are having a problem saying, oh, well, these men want to be pursued and they don't want to approach no more. Well, the reason why the men don't want to approach is because they don't want to get labeled a creep. They don't want to get accused of harassment, and they don't want to catch a case. All because y'all want to be stupid. Now the men are wisening up, and the men are saying, you know what? I ain't gonna approach. If she likes me, hey, you come over here. Because if I like you and I go to you and you call me a creep, then what? See what I'm saying? So the men are just adapting. You got to suck it up and deal with it, ma'am.
They think it's a feminism. They think it's women want to, yeah.
The man is trying to take charge.
Why do women think they're the only ones who deserve to be chased?
I
don't think that they
Why do women think they're the only ones who deserve to be chased?
Come on.
I guess it's showed in like movies where like the man always comes to the woman first, so I think that's the general idea. And plus, I think it's more like manly and ladylike to be that sort of way. It's kind of traditional.
If women don't need men, why don't they build a female-only civilization on an island or a female-only Fortune 500
Man, I already
company
said
and
that,
show
bro.
the world how it's done?
What if it already exists and you don't know about it?
I think that there's a lot of women-owned
Stop the
companies,
cap.
especially in production and small businesses and all sorts of things. I just don't think that anything would be that sustainable if it was only run by one gender.
Would you consider a queen bee in nature an example of a matriarchy?
Yes. The queen bee needs her worker bees to survive. She needs the bees also to repopulate as well, to have more bees. She needs those male bees. But those male bees follow her everywhere because they need someone to lead them.
The queen bee example is a perfect example of the female not being able to function without the males assisting her. So even though she's quote unquote the leader, you won't be able to sustain the hive if it's all female bees. You gotta have the male bees there to establish the order, safety, and protection of the hive. So if you die as the queen, they're just gonna move on. But see, if they leave and you're there, how are you going to protect your hive from predators? Birds can come in, anything can come in and take you out. Hornets can show up and attack the hive and kill the queen because there's no defense. So even though she's quote unquote the leader, you're not really running anything.
Why do straight men seem to care more about a woman's body count than lesbian women care about a woman's body count?
Because for a man to go out and come back with a woman, it takes a lot. It's very hard for a man to have.
It's easy because women don't get anybody
goes with
pregnant.
the intent of going out and coming home with a man, 100% she will. So it's the accessibility. It's harder for a man.
I don't know why I can't say it comes to possessiveness. I think that men just sometimes are superficial and they just want to have ownership over something.
Stop the
So
cap.
they care how.
Notice how this girl said earlier that masculinity wasn't a penis thing. She said that women can be masculine too. She's a perfect example of it because right now she's trying to be disingenuous and act like she doesn't understand where the men are coming from when men say they care about a woman's body count. It's very, very simple. They know it matters, which is why they lie about it. And I can guarantee you, if you ask her what her body count is, she's going to say a number that's under 10. 9 times out of 10, they say a number that's under 10. So this chick understands she's just being dumb on purpose.
Many people have had it because they won't want it to be taken away or something like that. But a woman, she just, I don't know, loyalty. Women understand women. And sometimes men can be like aliens to them, and sometimes women can be like aliens to men. So it's kind of, you know, there's no way to answer these questions and be exact. It's kind of all situational.
Well, why don't you see lesbian women slut-shaming each other?
They do all the time. You
Yeah,
know,
they
watch
do.
Love and Hip Hop.
They do. They do.
That's all they do is shame each
They
other.
do.
I think that the LGBTQ community is judgment-free for the most part, and I think that they really do just focus on
Stop
finding
the
someone
cap.
that they like, because finding gays is harder than finding straights, and they focus more on connection, whereas for a straight man, if the woman has been with a lot of people, I think that they feel like she's been around and they don't want that. Straight relationships are a little more judgmental, I would say.